Hi, I'm Grant Boone, voice of the ACU Wildcats.
And I'm Kimberly Prather. We're your hosts for an all-new season of The Chris Thomsen Show. The ACU football team is coming off one of its best seasons. The Wildcats' 10-0 regular season record gave the program its third Lone Star Conference championship and first outright LSC championship since 1973. So, Grant, I just have one question for you. Are you ready for some football?
Kimberly, I've been waiting 8 months for someone to ask me that question. An all-new season of The Chris Thomsen Show, ready or not, comes your way next.
Usual game been unusually rough? Abilene's premier sports medicine facility, Action Sports Medicine, will have you back in top form in no time with orthopedic surgeons, physical therapists, a chiropractor, and athletic trainers on staff, specially trained in the treatment of sports injury. Action has an open MRI and digital x-rays on site to make sure your diagnosis is fast and accurate. Action offers a free sports evaluation during the Saturday Sports Injury Clinic, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are sports medicine, Action Sports Medicine.
Stop by West Texas Golf Cars to test drive the AC-powered RXV. You'll be impressed with all the new technologies, and you can also sign up to win one for free. Come visit West Texas Golf Cars, not just for golf anymore.
Your 9-0, second ranked in the nation, ACU Wildcats.
New car financing is available through Sheffield Financing. Apply online or stop by the store and West Texas Golf Cars can help. 5.9% for 36 months, 8.9% for 48 months, or 6 months same as cash.
Welcome back to the Chris Thomsen Show, episode 1 for 2009. We're joined now by the man himself, ACU head football coach Chris Thomsen. What do you think about the new digs?
I think this is awesome. This is first class, and as soon as you walk in here, it's just a great setup.
Well, you've had a pretty good setup yourself, beginning your 5th season at the helm of the ACU football program. Maybe as we get started with the new season of the Chris Thomsen Show, a word or two about where the program is and where it's been and maybe where it's headed.
Well, it seems like we just got here. I was talking to some of the 5th-year seniors, earlier. It seems like we just got here, but a lot of things have been accomplished. I think that, as I reflect back, we played in a lot of big, meaningful games, some televised games, some games with championship implications, both national championship and conference championship. And that's where you want to be in a program at this point. We just want to sustain that and continue to climb towards a national championship. But we're happy with where we are at this point and want to keep climbing.
Last year was just the second undefeated regular season in ACU history. Producer Jimmy Jackson takes us back on the thrill ride that was the 2008 ACU football season.
The Wildcats opened the season at perennial powerhouse Northwest Missouri State. They rallied from 21-7 down in the first quarter to win 44-27 and snap the Bearcats' 17-game home win streak. Back home at Shotwell Stadium, the home opener was no contest. 45-14 ACU over Texas A&M Commerce, behind 390 passing yards and a couple of touchdowns from Billy Malone, and the defense scored twice itself. The game against East Central University, no contest. 66-7, Cats over the Tigers as that newly revamped defense forced 6 turnovers. The Wildcats were unbeaten heading into a nighttime showdown against their nearest rival, Angelo State. The defense rose to the challenge, and Johnny Knox had 232 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns in a 51-7 win. It set up an undefeated showdown between ACU and West Texas A&M and Canyon. Bernard Scott had 400-plus all-purpose yards as the Cats jumped out to a 31-7 halftime lead. But ACU's lead was down to 10 on the first play of the fourth quarter, when Billy Malone ran a naked bootleg around the left side to seal the ACU victory. The Cats unbeaten, home for homecoming against Tarleton State. The defense strong again. And Bernard Scott nearly 300 yards in all-purpose yardage and 3 more touchdowns. The Cats knocked off Tarleton State 37-17. In the season finale, Billy Malone was back after a thumb injury that had him out 2 games, and they rolled over Midwestern.
And for the first time since 1950, the ACU Wildcats complete a perfect regular season.
After a first-round playoff bye, ACU faced a familiar foe, arch-rival West Texas A&M. But there was nothing familiar about the way this game played out. 93-68 ACU over West Texas A&M in a game that saw ACU roll up 810 yards in total offense as Billy Malone threw for 6 touchdowns and Bernard Scott ran for 6 more and caught a 7th. It set up a rematch against Northwest Missouri State. Bernard Scott had 169 yards and 2 touchdowns, but ACU couldn't get past the 4-time national finalist Bearcats from Northwest Missouri State. After ACU had beaten its first 11 opponents by no less than 17 points in each game, the Cats fell to the Bearcats 45-36, putting an end to one of the greatest seasons in Wildcat history.
Coach, 2008 was such a great season with so many memories. What memory sticks out the most for you?
Well, Kimberly, probably the biggest one is just winning the championship, because many of the guys, the seniors, had been here for 4 or 5 years and had worked really, really hard to get to that. And a lot of the guys that were just 2-year transfers had worked really hard, like Bernard and Johnny, and just being able to piece all that together fell a little bit short in 2007, and so to win it in 2008 was just that was the best thing. That final game of the regular season, being able to win a Lone Star Conference championship, was a great memory.
First Lone Star Conference championship since 1977 and the first outright championship since 1973. The beauty and sometimes the disappointment in college football is that the players keep changing. Mm-hmm. And certainly the roster this year will look considerably different. You lose players that we know about, obviously, that jump out to us, like Billy Malone and Bernard Scott and Johnny Knox. But I can think of some other guys maybe who are a little bit under the radar to the average fan, who certainly wouldn't be under your radar. For example, Sam Collins, your center. Have you ever coached a game in which anyone other than Sam has taken a meaningful snap or delivered a meaningful snap?
Never as a head coach have I been without Sam Collins, and that's a little bit scary because obviously it all starts at that position, and with what we do on offense, you do a lot of shotgun snapping, you do a lot of different things. So a guy like that's very valuable, and a guy like Jonathan Ferguson, who, 30 or 40 catches last year, clutch catches, miss a guy like that. But we've got a lot of building blocks there still in place with the Whitesides and the Tony Washingtons and the Tony Harps, and I can go on and on. Eric Edwards and Fred Thomson's, the guys that are still there, that are Royland Tubbs that are playing huge roles on our team. So we feel like the building blocks are in place. We just got to get the right people around them and replace the ones we lost. Feel like we can have a great year.
Replacing a legend is never easy, but that's the challenge for Zach Stewart and Clark Harrell, who are competing for the starting quarterback role. Scott Stewart takes a closer look.
It's good competition. We got a lot of good quarterbacks here with Zach and Mitchell and all those guys. It's good competition, and it just makes you better because it pushes you. And I feel like, with me or Zach, either one of us in there, I feel like we'd win games. It would mean a lot. I've always, growing up, always known about ACU and its history. And it's always been a great program, so any time to be in that role would be an honor. You just got to accept your role and be a team player and support whoever's in there.
The quarterback position on this team is kind of open right now. Clark and I have been splitting reps with the ones, and ready to fill that role of whoever's in there, and go with that. Growing up in Abilene, kind of watched ACU football quite a bit, and kind of watched the guys that have come through this program. And it'd be a great honor to be in there for the next couple of years, and and lead this team to a few more victories. When that role comes, you just got to take it as it comes and be ready. Any play the other one goes down and you step right in.
I feel really good about the quarterback position. We've got two guys that are probably going to end up playing. Zach's actually been out in 1-2 games for us against tough opponents last year, and Clark came in late summer last year, and he's studied. He's had a year in the thing, so I feel really good. I don't know that we would be limited in what we're doing if either one of them were out there.
Well, Coach, Zach and Clark have the daunting challenge of replacing only the greatest quarterback in the history of the Lone Star Conference. Take us through, from the offseason through currently, through training camp, how Zach and Clark have done.
Well, Clark, first of all, starting in January, had a tremendous offseason. I mean, he worked as hard as any player in our program and really had a great spring. Zach's was a little bit different, and he had shoulder surgery coming off the 2008 season, so his was more of a rehab assignment. Didn't get to go through any spring training. He was cleared right at the first of the summer, so both guys had the opportunity to really prepare this summer. What I've seen from both of them is what we expect: great commitment, great leadership, and they prepared themselves both to win the starting job. Obviously, one of them has to be picked to go out there and start the first game, but both guys have prepared really well, and we've been really pleased with what they've done.
Coach, besides the obvious playing ability, what are you and the other coaches looking for in a good quarterback?
Well, the first thing we look for really is toughness. I mean, you really three things: toughness, leadership, and intelligence. And the toughness part is both physical and mental. I mean, it's just such a highly scrutinized position that you can't be a guy that gets down on yourself when you don't do well, and there's going to be some good times and some bad times at that position. Physically, you have to be tough because you're a lot of times in a position where you can't defend yourself. You're throwing that ball and people are taking shots at you, so physically you have to be tough. But obviously you have to be very smart. We do a lot on offense. Our offense took a while for Billy to pick up, as it does any of our quarterbacks, so there's going to be a little learning curve for both those guys once they get out there. Zach's got a little bit of experience in the game. But the intelligence aspect, and then just leadership. Are you willing to show up every day, alert, awake, ready to go, and ready to improve? And those guys possess those things. And Mitchell Gale's had a good camp as well. A little bit inexperienced there, but he's worked hard too.
Well, I think about those two guys, Coach, and each brings something a little bit unique. One, you have Zach, who last season, after Billy Malone in the fourth quarter of the West Texas A&M game had injured his thumb, had to come in and play Tarleton State, which was nationally ranked at the time, and oh, by the way, homecoming, with the whole alumni scene there coming back to campus. And then he went down and he beat A&M Kingsville. You can count on your hands the number of times we've gone down to Kingsville and won, and he won pretty handily on a night that Bernard got bottled up. So I think about Zach and how he played. But then with Harold, you've got a D1 caliber quarterback, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, Clark's got size and a big arm, and Clark's got all the intangibles. He's a great guy. He's very intelligent, good leader. So with what you just mentioned with Zach and then the things with Clark, you've got a pretty good battle on your hands. And those guys they're going out there every day. They don't really look at it as a competition between each other. They're just going out competing against themselves, trying to improve every day. And they know that, I think they trust us that we're going to make the right decision. And truth be told, both of them are probably going to have to step up at some point during the season, just like last year with like Zach did.
Coach, last year we had the chance to call names like Whiteside, names really that we had not called before. He was a redshirt freshman. 2 years ago, we heard the names Bernard Scott and Johnny Knox. We had no idea who they were or the fact that they would play well enough to be drafted in the National Football League. Obviously, it's a new class, some new people coming in. Give me a few names of people who I'll be calling from the broadcast booth and who fans are going to get to know this year.
Well, I'll start with those two positions first. At the running back position, we got three guys there that, Justin Johnson's a transfer from Oklahoma. Daryl Richardson is actually Bernard's brother, younger brother. And then Reggie Brown from Blinn College was a leading rusher in the Texas Junior College League last year. Those guys have all had a great camp. They're battling it out. And same with that position, those guys will probably rotate. And then Kendrick Johnson at receiver has really impressed us in camp. He's a kid from Kilgore Junior College. And then on the defensive side, Marvin Jones is a big D tackle. We hadn't had a real big presence inside in a while, a 320-pound guy that can that can move around. And Courtney Lane at the outside linebacker spot might turn some heads. He's already earned a starting spot 2 weeks into camp. So there's some names out there that we're excited about that haven't yet surfaced, and hopefully as the season goes on, you'll see those guys perform well.
Turn some fans' heads, maybe turn the heads of some opposing players as well.
I hope so.
Danielle Manning, Bernard Scott, and Johnny Knox gave ACU fans a lot to cheer about on Saturdays. Now they're playing on Sundays. When we come back, we'll have the latest on all three in a feature we call the X Factor.
The ST Express is the best multi-purpose cart in the industry. Gas models with a 13 horsepower 401cc motor or electric 8 batteries, precision drive, all for under $10,000. Come visit West Texas Golf Carts, not just for golf anymore.
Thursday, August 27th, the new football season begins. Come cheer on the ACU Wildcats as they battle the Bearcats in a nationally televised season opener. Kickoff is at 7. Tailgating starts at 5. Come out early for food, music, and family fun. Get tickets now at acusports.com or call 674-CATS. Bring the whole family for just $25. As a special thank you to all the men and women who serve our country, military tickets are just $1. Pull on your purple for ACU football. Thursday, August 27th at Shotwell Stadium. Are you ready?
Starting under $7,000, the ST Sport 2+2 is one of our most versatile and popular models. Whether you use your cart to run around your neighborhood, at the lake, hunting, sporting place, this 4-passenger cart will make your life easier.
Boys and girls of all ages love ACU bowling lanes. We take reservations for all kinds of events, from private birthday parties to church groups. We have everything you need to make your next event a memorable one. We offer air hockey, pool tables, ping pong, Xbox game stations, foosball, and galactic bowling with automatic scorekeeping. Call 674-2531 today and make your reservation.
ACU Bowling Lanes!
The ST Sport 2 is a value-priced utility that comes in gas and electric. Has a 10 cubic foot dump bed, headlights, grill guard, and an 800-pound carry capacity. Payments as low as $150 a month.
Welcome back to the Chris Thomsen Show with the coach in Grant Boone. I'm Kimberly Prather. No doubt there are thousands of new Chicago Bears and Cincinnati Bengals fans in Abilene and throughout the ACU family. 2 former Wildcats, Danielle Manning and rookie Johnny Knox, play for the Bears, and Bernard Scott has already turned heads in his first training camp with the Bengals. Brandon Tripp takes a look at each in a new feature we call the X Factor.
Gun formation, driven a long shovel pass for 45-40. There he goes. 35, comes to the outside.
Coach, it's great to see those guys in NFL uniforms. Each one of them, Danielle, Johnny, and Bernard, has been very vocal in crediting you and the coaching staff and ACU with how they have matured as football players and as men. How does that make you feel as a man and as a coach?
Well, it's just good to see them get a chance to move on and play at the highest level. You know, we always knew Danielle, anytime it was a big game, he would step up another notch, and Bernard and Johnny were the same way. And when you see them out there in those uniforms playing against the best in the world, you see their game elevate, and it's really it's really awesome to see them go from playing in front of 9,000 or 10,000 to 100,000. You know, and Bernard, I think the other night had, you know, some really big runs. I didn't get to see the game, but everybody said, man, he looks like he belongs. You know, and then you watch Danielle play, and it's obvious he belongs. I think he led the league in kickoff returns last year, and I know Johnny had a pretty good game the other night. So we're proud of those guys, and we follow them and keep in touch with them and try to encourage and support them from afar.
And they play, in fact, against each other on October 25th. The Bears visit the Bengals there in Cincinnati.
Coach, how successful do you think that each of these guys can be on the NFL level?
Well, I think Danielle's already obviously established himself as a legitimate NFL player. I think he's, you know, he's got a big career in front of him, probably another 6-7 years out there. And then I think Johnny and Bernard both bring real talent to the table for any team because they can do other things besides just their position. They're both really good return guys, and they offer some skills that I think other players don't offer. So I think they'll find a long-term home with the teams that they're with.
There are more immediate issues to deal with, specifically how to stop one of the nation's top teams, Northwest Missouri State, coming into Abilene next Thursday for the season opener. Blaine Singletary has put together this preview.
Take a look at Northwest Missouri State by the numbers. In 2008, a record of 13-2. One of those two losses, of course, came to ACU, 44-27 in the season opener for both teams in Maryville, Missouri. For the fourth consecutive year, they got to the NCAA Division II championship game, and for the fourth consecutive year, they came up just short, losing 21-14 to the champion Minnesota Duluth. And as you look at their offense and defense numbers as a team, you'll also see that LaRon Council returns. The senior led the NCAA with 36 touchdowns.
Coach, the 2008 season began and ended with Northwest Missouri State. They're ranked number 2 and ACU is ranked number 5. Talk to me about how they compare as an elite team in the nation.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, they're there every single year in the national championship game in Florence, Alabama, and they're in our region, so we wanted to get them on the schedule 2 years ago and figure out what it's going to take to get to a national championship. Fortunately, we were able to prove to ourselves that we can beat them last year up there at their place, but then they improved greatly during the season, came in and beat us in the playoffs. So this is the third time we'll play them in a span of 1 year. People will tell you you're crazy for doing that, but we want to see where we stack up, and we want to get to where they are. So the only way to do that is to go play those teams. We have great respect for them, and obviously they're a great program.
Well, let's talk about Northwest Missouri State under Coach Mel Churchma, specifically game planning this offense and this defense. We mentioned LaRon Council, he's back, and Blake Bowles, their quarterback, who did some good things against ACU in that playoff game coming in for Joel Osborne.
Well, number one, they do have great personnel. They've got the Offensive Player of the Year preseason nationally in LaRon Council. He's just like Bernard was in terms of he's a scoring machine. He can score from anywhere on the field, and Bowles did some great things in a playoff game against us. But it's not just their personnel. They do a great job with their scheme. They do a lot of different stuff. Coach Johns has been up half the night for about the last 2 months trying to figure out everything that they do. And so great personnel, great coaching on that side of the ball, and we've got to figure out a way to slow them down.
It should be a good battle, good test for both teams, a matchup of top 5 teams in the nation. We're coming back to wrap up this first episode of the Chris Thomsen Show for 2009 after this.
When the game gets too hairy, go to where over 30 big country high schools go. Action Sports Medicine will have you back in top form in no time with orthopedic surgeons, physical therapists, athletic trainers, and a chiropractor specially trained in the treatment of sports injuries. With an open MRI and digital x-rays on site, a diagnosis is fast and accurate. Action offers a free sports evaluation every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. during the Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Action Sports Medicine. We are sports medicine.
Your 9-0, second ranked in the nation, ACU Wildcats.
Welcome back to the first episode of the Chris Thomsen Show for 2009. Coach, let's hope this 2009 season opener goes as well as last year's, and this year a whole lot more people will have a chance to see the game.
Yeah, this will be the first nationally televised game in the history of Shotwell Stadium. Our players and coaches are very, very excited and looking forward to a great night. All
right, CBS College Sports has the telecast nationally, 7 o'clock Thursday night. And for that game, as well as every game all season long, you can hear the game locally on radio on Classic Country 1470 AM and online around the world on acusports.com. For the coach and for Kimberly Prather, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Chris Thomsen Show.